I can still remember the exact second everything shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No fall, no injury, just a step. One simple step through my living room. And suddenly I felt off. My body wobbled. My heart skipped. I caught myself, but barely. I stood still for a moment, staring at nothing, and a thought crept in. One I didn't want to admit. What if next time I don't catch myself? That moment didn't hurt me physically, but emotionally, it cracked something open. Because when you're over 60, maybe over 70, balance isn't just about staying upright. It's about freedom, independence, confidence, the ability to move through life without second guessing every step. And here's what startled me most. Doctors now say that 99% of older women will experience some level of balance decline. Not 1 in 3, not half, almost all of us. But what if I told you it's not just aging, that many of the reasons we start to feel shaky, dizzy, or afraid to walk across a room come from tiny everyday habits we don't even notice? That's what this video is about. 8 common mistakes, quiet, familiar, often invisible, that slowly chip away at our stability. And one of them sent me straight to the floor. I'm not sharing this to scare you. I'm sharing it because I wish someone had told me sooner, and because I believe we deserve to feel strong again. Not just in our legs, but in our lives. Let me take you back to where it started for me. A quiet house, a normal day, and a single step that changed everything. For years, I told myself that lifting weights just wasn't for me. I wasn't trying to sculpt abs or compete in a triathlon. I was a grandmother. I walked every morning. I did laundry. I gardened. Wasn't that enough? That's what I believed until my body gave me a different answer. It started small. I noticed I had to use both arms to push myself up from the sofa. Then came the moment when I bent to pick up a dropped spoon and needed to steady myself afterward. And one afternoon, I knelt to pull a weed and realized I couldn't stand up without grabbing the side of the flower bed. That's when I realized I hadn't been avoiding strength training. I had been avoiding the truth. After the age of 50, we lose muscle mass every single year. Not in huge amounts all at once, but slowly, invisibly, like sand slipping through fingers. You don't notice it right away. Then suddenly, your legs don't respond as fast when you trip. Your arms tire faster. Your balance wavers. You mistake it for aging. But the truth is, it's muscle loss. The good news? It's reversible. And it doesn't require a gym, fancy machines, or loud workout music. I started with a pair of light dumbbells I found at a garage sale. I kept them by the couch and began curling them during commercial breaks. I did wall push-ups in the hallway. On good days, I added seated leg lifts at the kitchen table. On tired days, I just stood up and sat down on purpose. 10 times in a row, without using my hands. That alone felt like a workout. What surprised me most wasn't the physical change. It was the emotional one. I began to feel steady again, capable. I walked more confidently. I stood taller in grocery lines. I stopped fearing curbs and steps. But the moment that really proved it, one day I tripped over the edge of a rug, just like before, and this time I caught myself. My body reacted. My legs held firm. I didn't fall. And the power I felt in that moment was unforgettable, because strength is more than muscle. It's readiness. It's the ability to recover, to bounce back, to protect yourself in real time. I used to think I needed to be motivated to start, but what I really needed was a reason. And falling, or nearly falling, is reason enough. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. You just need to become stronger than you were yesterday. Just 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. That's it. And here's the best part. You can do it in your pajamas while watching your favorite show without anyone watching. Think of strength like insurance. You hope you never need it, but when the moment comes, it saves you. And if you're thinking, but I'm too old to build strength now, I want to stop you right there. I've met women in their 70s and 80s who couldn't lift a bag of groceries 2 months ago, and now carry their own suitcases. Your body is still capable. It just needs an invitation. So start small. Use soup cans. Use your own body weight. Follow a senior fitness video on YouTube, or simply try standing on one leg while brushing your teeth. You don't need to sweat, just activate. Muscle is your hidden armor. It protects you not only from falls, but from fear. Because once you feel strong again, in your legs, your core, your mind, you stop bracing for disaster. You start walking into life with intention. Don't wait until a fall forces you to rebuild what you've lost. Start now. A few small movements, done with care, can give you something priceless, your power back. I used to think that vision problems were just about squinting at road signs or holding a book a little farther away, but I never connected my eyesight to my balance until one painful night made it crystal clear. It was around 2 a.m. I woke up thirsty and tiptoed down the hallway toward the kitchen. I didn't turn on the light. I didn't want to wake my husband. The house was quiet, familiar, safe, until my foot caught the edge of a hallway rug. I stumbled, hard, and slammed my knee into the floor. It took a full week before I could bend it without wincing. And the worst part, that little rug had been there for years. I'd walked over it hundreds of times. So why now? The answer was waiting in the mirror the next morning, behind a pair of smudged 4-year-old glasses. That fall opened my eyes, literally and figuratively. Because balance isn't just physical, it's visual. Our eyes send signals to our brain about where we are, how far we're stepping, what the floor is doing beneath us. And when those signals are even slightly off, the rest of the body follows. As we age, our vision subtly changes, not just in how well we see, but how clearly we perceive depth, contrast, and light. We may not notice it, but our brains do, and they start compensating in quiet, exhausting ways, squinting more, hesitating on stairs, feeling disoriented in dim rooms. It's not just about needing stronger lenses, it's about accuracy. Because when you can't judge that last inch of a step, that inch can take you down. And like many women, I'd been wearing outdated glasses for years. I thought they were good enough. I'd skipped my last eye exam. I told myself my eyes hadn't changed, but they had. After that fall, I finally booked an appointment. My prescription had shifted, not dramatically, but just enough to affect my depth perception. I also learned about anti-glare coatings and special lenses that help with low light contrast. I upgraded my glasses, and it wasn't just a clearer world I gained. It was steadiness, confidence, relief. But the fix didn't stop there. I walked through my home like a visitor, paying attention to every shadow. I realized how dim the hallway really was, how the bathroom lighting cast more glare than clarity, how nighttime became a maze of dark corners and blurred edges. So I made some changes, small ones. I plugged in motion sensor nightlights in the bedroom, bathroom, and hallway. I replaced soft yellow bulbs with warm, brighter LEDs. I added a little reading light to the nightstand. These weren't expensive fixes, but they created an entirely new sense of safety. Here's the truth. No one told me. Vision affects balance everywhere. At home, at the grocery store, on uneven sidewalks. Even one missed step or misjudged curb could be the difference between a peaceful day and a painful injury. So ask yourself, when was your last eye exam? Are your glasses scratched, slipping, or outdated? Do you squint in low light, or avoid moving around at night altogether? If you answered yes to any of those, your vision may already be putting your body at risk. You don't need perfect eyesight to stay balanced, but you do need reliable feedback from your eyes, especially in moments when your reflexes are a second slower than they used to be. This isn't vanity. It's not about looking sharp. It's about moving safely, living confidently, trusting the floor beneath you. Because the truth is, your balance starts with what you see. And once I truly saw that, I started moving through life a little clearer, a little brighter, and a whole lot steadier. It started with a tiny moment. Standing up from the couch and feeling the room tilt just slightly. At first, I brushed it off. I probably stood up too fast, I told myself. Or maybe I was just tired. Or maybe I hadn't had enough water. I had a dozen excuses, but the feeling kept coming back. Subtle dizziness. A slow spin of the room. Not enough to fall, but enough to make me pause. Grip a table. Wait for the world to settle. It wasn't until one evening, when I stood up quickly to answer the phone and stumbled into the coffee table, that I finally admitted something was wrong. I didn't fall. Thank goodness, but I sat down afterward with tears in my eyes. I wasn't clumsy. I wasn't distracted. I was off balance, and I didn't know why. That night, I looked at the label on my blood pressure medication for the first time in months. And there it was, in small print I had never bothered to read. May cause dizziness or loss of balance. I stared at that sentence like it was a betrayal. Why hadn't I paid more attention? Why hadn't my doctor warned me? But the truth is, he probably did. I just wasn't listening, or I assumed it wouldn't apply to me. As we age, our bodies process medication differently. What worked perfectly at 55 can suddenly be too strong at 70. Our systems become more sensitive, our reactions slower. And for many of us, it's not just one pill. It's 5, 6, sometimes even 10. What we often forget is that medications don't exist in isolation. They interact with each other, with our diet, with our changing metabolism. And those interactions can lead to side effects we dismiss as just getting older. But here's what I've learned. Dizziness is not a normal part of aging. Neither is constant fatigue, or lightheadedness, or wobbling when you walk. So I made a list. Every pill, every supplement, every over-the-counter vitamin I was taking. I wrote down every strange symptom I had felt in the past few months, even the ones that felt small or silly. At my next appointment, I sat down with my doctor, not as a patient waiting for answers, but as a partner. I asked questions, I shared the truth, and together we adjusted my medication. He lowered the dose of that blood pressure pill. We swapped out one supplement that was causing drowsiness, and within a week, the dizziness was gone. Just gone. I felt clearer, lighter, steadier, and above all, more in control. It made me realize how often we ignore what our bodies are trying to say. We accept discomfort. We downplay warning signs. We fear seeming dramatic. But the truth is, you are the only person living inside your body. No one else can hear the signals unless you speak them out loud. So here's what I want every woman over 60 to know. Always read the labels, even on prescriptions you've been taking for years. If you start feeling different, slower, foggier, less balanced, write it down. Don't assume it's just age. And most importantly, bring it up. No symptom is too small if it's stealing your stability. You have a right to feel steady, to walk across your home without fear, to rise from your chair without gripping the walls. Medication can be life-saving, but sometimes it needs adjusting. And sometimes the most powerful step you can take is asking the right question. For the longest time, I told myself I didn't need a cane. I was still strong. I could get around just fine. Sure, I'd occasionally grab the back of a chair or lean on the countertop, but that didn't mean anything serious, right? That's what I believed. Until the day I was carrying a full laundry basket and reached for a chair that wasn't there. My hands were full. My eyes were fixed on the hallway. And when I took that step, the one I'd taken 100 times before, my balance shifted. Just slightly. Just enough to send panic down my spine. My knees buckled. I twisted to the side. The laundry flew. I nearly crashed into a table. I caught myself. Barely. But my heart kept racing for minutes. That moment was my wake-up call. Not because I fell. I didn't, but because I realized how much I had been depending on the furniture around me. I had built a silent path of handholds. Chairs, walls, counters, like a secret safety net. But that safety net, it was never meant to hold me. That's when I learned about something called furniture walking. It's a habit many older adults pick up without even realizing it. You feel a little unsteady, so you touch a chair here, lean on a table there, keep a hand grazing the wall as you walk. It becomes normal until it fails you. And the truth is, I was afraid of what a cane would say about me. That I was old, weak, dependent, that people would pity me or treat me differently. But what I didn't realize was that by avoiding a cane, I was choosing risk over respect, and I was risking something far more valuable. My safety. A week after the laundry incident, I decided to take a quiet trip to a medical supply store. I wasn't ready to be seen with a cane in public yet, but as I walked through the store, one caught my eye. It was light blue with a delicate floral pattern. It didn't scream medical. It felt gentle, personal, mine. I picked it up, held it in my hand, and something shifted inside me. It wasn't shame, it was relief. The next day, I used it at home, then to the mailbox, then to the grocery store. And you know what? No one stared. No one whispered. In fact, someone even complimented it. But most importantly, I walked taller. Not because the cane lifted me, but because it allowed me to stop fearing the next step. The irony is, we think a cane makes us look weak. But in truth, it's one of the strongest choices we can make. It says, I care enough about myself to prevent a fall. I value my independence enough to protect it. If you find yourself reaching for walls, hesitating before stepping, or thinking, I just need to hold on to something real quick, that's your body asking for help. And a cane, the right cane, can be the answer. Choose one that fits your hand, that feels stable but light, one that reflects you, not just your needs, but your style, your life. There is nothing weak about protecting yourself. There is nothing shameful about choosing tools that help you move freely, because every step you take with confidence is a step you own. I walked into the wellness class expecting gentle stretches, maybe a bit of chair yoga, something calm, something safe. What I didn't expect was to be asked to stand on one leg, without holding on to anything. At first, I laughed nervously. How hard could it be? Then I tried it. My ankle wobbled. My arms instinctively shot out like airplane wings. Within seconds, I had to tap my toe down to keep from tipping over. My heart sank, not because I couldn't do it, but because I had no idea how unsteady I'd become. That first class was eye-opening. I wasn't just stiff. I wasn't just out of shape. I was out of practice at something I didn't even realize needed practice. Balance. For most of our lives, balance is automatic. Our bodies just know how to shift, adjust, correct. We don't think about it, but like any skill, when left unused, it fades. As we get older, our ankles stiffen, our core weakens, our brain loses some of the lightning-fast signals it once relied on. And the result? We become slower to react, less able to recover, more vulnerable. Not because we're not careful, but because we've stopped training for stability. That class changed everything for me. I started incorporating small balance drills into my day. Standing on one leg while brushing my teeth, walking heel to toe across the hallway like a tightrope walker, shifting weight from foot to foot while folding laundry. These weren't intense workouts. They were gentle nudges, reminders to my body, hey, we still need this. And over time, something beautiful happened. I stopped gripping the handrail on every step. I stopped dreading uneven sidewalks. One morning, music played in the kitchen while I cooked, and before I realized it, I was dancing. Not like I used to, but enough to smile, enough to feel like me again. Because balance isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the quiet trust you have in your own body that it will catch you, hold you, support you. When that trust disappears, so does your confidence. But when you rebuild it, you reclaim something powerful. You don't need a gym. You don't need a personal trainer. You just need intention. 5 to 10 minutes, a few times a week. That's all it takes to keep your body familiar with the rhythms of movement, the shifts in weight, the moments where reaction matters most. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, I promise you, it's not. I've seen women in their late 70s begin balance work for the first time and walk taller within weeks. Because the body, even as it ages, remembers how to adapt. It just needs to be asked. There are free videos online, local classes at community centers, even insurance programs that offer guided training. But the simplest thing, just stand on one foot for 15 seconds a day. Then switch. That tiny act is a message to your body. I still trust you to hold me. And over time, your body starts to trust itself again. Don't wait for a fall to remind you that balance matters. Think of it like brushing your teeth, a small daily ritual, barely noticeable, that protects you in ways you can't fully measure. Balance isn't about perfection, It's about prevention. And more than that, it's about freedom. The freedom to move through your world without hesitation, without fear, and with quiet, steady confidence. It seems too simple, doesn't it? Water. Something we all drink. Something we all assume we're getting enough of. For most of my life, I thought I was. Tea in the morning, coffee in the afternoon, maybe a glass of water with dinner. That felt normal. I didn't feel thirsty, so I didn't worry. Until the symptoms started creeping in like fog. Afternoon fatigue that felt heavier than usual. Mild headaches that lingered longer than they should. The moment I stood up too quickly and had to grab the wall because the whole room shifted. I kept telling myself it was age, or hormones, or just a long day, but the truth was hiding in plain sight. I was dehydrated. My doctor was the one who brought it up. "How much water do you drink each day?" he asked, and I froze, because I didn't know. I had never counted. I assumed coffee and tea counted. Turns out, not really, especially not the caffeinated kind. He explained something that stuck with me. As we age, our body's thirst signals weaken. That means by the time you feel thirsty, you're already running low. And when your body runs low on fluids, it doesn't just dry out. It destabilizes. Blood pressure drops. Brain fog sets in. Balance gets thrown off. That sudden dizziness when you stand, that lightheaded moment before bed, it might be your body simply crying out, "I need water." It hit me hard because I always thought of hydration as a fitness thing, something for athletes or people at the gym. I didn't think of it as something that would help me stand up safely from a chair. But when I started tracking, really tracking, I was shocked. I was drinking less than 4 cups of actual water a day, barely half of what I needed. So I made a decision. I put a little notepad on the fridge. Every glass of water, I marked a line. I aimed for 6 to 8 cups a day. And within a week, I felt the change. I had more energy in the afternoons. My legs didn't feel so heavy. The moment I stood up, my vision stayed still. Most importantly, I felt clearer in my body, in my mind, and yes, steadier on my feet. But I'll be honest, plain water got boring fast, so I made it fun. A slice of lemon here, a sprig of mint there. I bought a pretty bottle and filled it with cold cucumber water. I kept a small pitcher by my bedside and made it part of my nightly routine. Suddenly, drinking water didn't feel like a chore. It felt like a kindness. If you're someone who forgets to drink, I get it. Life is full. We're busy, but hydration isn't optional. Not when your balance, your energy, your brain, even your bones depend on it. I placed water where I could see it, by the couch, at my desk, in the car. I drank a glass first thing in the morning, before coffee. I made it part of meals. Water with lunch, herbal tea at night. And when I left the house, my bottle came with me, just like my keys. It wasn't a massive change, but it became a powerful one. Because water isn't just refreshing, it's stabilizing. And in a world where one step off balance can change everything, hydration might be one of the simplest, yet most powerful tools we have. Don't wait until you feel dizzy. Don't wait until a fall makes you question everything. Start now. Pour a glass. Take a sip. Take 2. Then take your next step, feeling just a little clearer, a little lighter, and a lot more in control. So there you have it. 8 small mistakes that don't scream. They whisper. Quiet habits that slowly, almost invisibly, pull at your balance, your confidence, and your independence. You might think, "I'm just a little tired," or "It's just age." But now you know. It might be your shoes, your strength, your vision, your water. It might be something you can change. And that's the most beautiful part. You're not powerless. You're not broken. You're not stuck. Every one of these changes is within reach. One step, one glass of water, one small decision to choose steadiness over fear. You're still capable of strength, still worthy of safety, still deserving of a life that feels twaddle beneath your feet. If you've ever hesitated on a staircase, skipped an outing, or whispered, "What if I fall?" then this message is for you. You're not weak for being cautious. You're wise for being prepared. And if this video helped you, even in a small way, I'd love for you to take just one more step. Click subscribe. That way, you'll never miss another guide, tip, or story designed to help you move through life with clarity, calm, and confidence. Leave a comment and tell me, which of these 8 surprised you most? Or what's the first change you're going to make? Your story might just inspire someone else to find their balance again too. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your body. It's carried you through so much, and it still has more strength left than you think. Stay steady, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.